Hey, I thought I would take a moment and explain the layout on the RPG key version 402. So we'll take 30 seconds here and go through this. First of all, the colored keys on the top of every key, the blue, the purple, the red, and the orange, those are functions for Lightroom. Um, the functions at the bottom half of the key, the gray keys, are for Photoshop CS3 and CS4 and eventually CS5. In another video, we're going to go through exactly how to work with the Lightroom side of things and the Photoshop side of things, but I just wanted to spend a moment and explain the keyboard layout. There are a couple of types of keys on the keyboard. There are those keys like the one shown on the top right of the keyboard, the one that says color in gray. This is a key with a dot on it. The dot signifies that this key does not use one of the modifier keys at the bottom of the keyboard. So color in gray does not use option 1 or option 2, but rather it's a toggle key. If you hit this key once in Lightroom, it's going to turn a photograph to grayscale, and if you hit it again, it's going to go back to the original color. It toggles back and forth. The same with turning on the clipping or adding a photo to the quick collection or enabling your filters, as a few examples. The other type of key on the keyboard is like the exposure key shown here. This key requires the use of the option 1 key. You'll notice that the bottom half of the keyboard is symmetric. So the left three keys and the right three keys are the same, so that your thumb, if you're left-handed or right-handed, sits on either the reject key, option 1, or option 2, and you can very easily move your hand around. Those option keys are your modifier keys. So again, hitting the exposure key as an example, it's going to increase the exposure of your photograph in Lightroom. But if you hold your thumb down on the option 1 key and then hit the exposure key, it's going to decrease the exposure of that photograph. Most of the keys on the RPG key work in this way, and they all do in Photoshop. There are a few keys that have 3 functions. For example, the new key that's hue, saturation, and luminance has 3 functions. So if you hit this key with no other modifier, it's going to go ahead and grab the hue tab or the hue adjustment tool. If you hold down the option 1 key and press this key, it's going to select the saturation tab. And if you hold down the option 2 key, it's going to grab the luminance tab. So again, you'll notice that the modifier keys have a single slash or a double slash on them, and that's so that you can understand that anytime you see a single slash, whatever's after that slash requires the option 1 key, and if you see a double slash, it requires the option 2 key. In Photoshop at the moment, each key does 2 functions. In the next release, version 403, which is not far away, each of those keys is going to do 3 functions, so you will in fact utilize the option 2 key in Photoshop. But at the moment, it's 2 functions in Photoshop, and some keys have 3 in Lightroom. What do the colors mean? So the orange colors in the Lightroom keys are for flagging and ranking. The blue colors on the left are for presets. The red colors on the right are keys that require the use of your mouse or Wacom tablet, meaning hand selecting or using menus. Blue keys are kind of multi-purpose keys, and purple keys are keys that work in library and develop, so you can navigate between the two. One big advance with the new RPG key version 402 is that all of the keys work in the library and develop module, if Lightroom allows. There's no crop tool or there's no hue tool in the library module, but there's no limitations to where you can work. The keyboard will take you where you need to be. If you ask it to do something like clipping, which is not available in the library module, it will take you to develop. So there it is. There's a very quick introduction to the keyboard logic, if you will, why things are colored the way they are and how the functions work. Please watch the rest of our training videos. Take care.